A downfall when you have chickens and you reside in an area where the temperatures may dip well below freezing on occasion is the wonderful little gift of frozen eggs. And of course, when you work a full-time job and you may not get home until later in the evening, you find these wonderful gifts. So if you've never lived in an area where it gets incredibly cold or had chickens, frozen eggs are a legitimate thing and they are the ultimate disappointment. Another level of complication that this adds a little bit of a spin on this is if you were to sell eggs with the intention of hatching. So I had a customer reach out to me a week or so ago inquiring about eggs that they would like to buy to set in their incubator, aka fertilized hatching eggs. And unfortunately, this is not conducive to that. So I went and collected eggs this evening. Out of the 16 eggs that I collected, 4 of them are frozen visibly with cracks in them. And this is what happens. This one has started to thaw a little bit, but there is a crack here, is that they may freeze so solidly through that they crack through the shell, and then you see this. So these are just waste eggs because obviously we're not going to consume them. Even the non-saleable eggs, we're not going to consume them. So I will end up cracking these and feeding them back to the chickens or feed them to my canine companions. And then I have some of these eggs which I suspect are frozen, but they are not frozen solid enough, or they had a little bit more room internally that they did not explode outwards. But you can shake them and kind of feel the liquid moving around in there. Unfortunately, I just reached out to my customer to inform them that because of our schedule being at our full-time jobs during the day, that we will not be able to sell them any potential hatching eggs until next week. So I'm hoping by either this weekend I'll be able to collect them more frequently, or next week the temperature is supposed to increase enough that it should not be an issue. But this one is a pretty cool color. This is an olive egg. But just something to consider if you are selling eggs and you reside in an area where it has been cold. We are in the Northeast and it's been anywhere from 10 degrees down to 10 below, honestly, without the wind chill. Just something to be aware of, because you don't want to sell with the intention of a purpose of hatching and then have them not hatch and have unhappy customers. So, and if you're the one that's buying, also keep that in mind. Some people may not hatch their own eggs regularly and they may not be aware of that. So just something to keep in mind if you are hatching eggs this time of year. And I know down south it has been cold, unseasonably cold in like Florida, but we are in New York State, so it has been really cold here. So if you're hovering in the 30 to 40 degree temperature range, or maybe even 50s, that probably, if you collect them frequently enough, or you have hens that are sitting on the nest, it may not even be an issue for you. But unfortunately, up here in New York State, it definitely is. This is something that's pretty unique, and if you've never had to deal with it before, there's nothing quite like discovering a frozen cracked egg in your nesting box. You also have to be careful with this, because as this egg starts to thaw, it will shrink, right? Because as things freeze, they expand, which is why it busts through the egg. And as it thaws, it actually will constrict again and it will go down. And this is another reason, like, I feel better selling my eggs when I wash them. And I have to wash them because of state law. I discover these cracks when I wash the eggs, as I'm handling them more, washing and drying them. And I discover these types of cracks, which may go unnoticed on some of these eggs, depending on the color. You may not always see them. And I hope you do not have frozen eggs. So